So what's up, people? It's your boy OT and welcome to Steady Bro. And I'm back on that coronavirus vaccine. So check this out. I was in the grapevine, right? I was reading a couple of articles and I saw something. I think this was from the Daily Mail or one of these American newspapers. And it said 4 volunteers that took the Pfizer vaccine during the trials had developed Bell's palsy. And some people were just going crazy, saying like because of that, the vaccine was unsafe. Now, let's break this down. You might have seen this and you might be concerned, and rightfully so. And I think it's important that you get the right information to help you make your decision. As I said, I urge people to take the vaccine because I think it's for the greater good. Now, greater good doesn't mean you have to risk your own health. If you are not clear about what is happening, you might think you are putting yourself in danger, which I repeat is not the case. I've explained how this vaccine was done quickly than other vaccines, but this does not mean in any shape or form that corners were cut. Now, let's look at the Bell's palsy in these 4 volunteers. The question is, what is Bell's palsy? Bell's palsy is a lower motor neuron disease. It's a problem that affects the nerve that controls the muscles in your face. It normally affects people mainly between the ages of 15 and 45. The incidence would be about 20 cases per 100,000 within the general population. We used to say we did not know what caused Bell's palsy, but evidence will suggest that HSV1, which is like herpes simplex virus 1, does have a major role to play in it. Let's look at it this way. Normally, when people get chickenpox and they fight it, the herpes virus normally resides in the ganglia. It sleeps, it becomes latent. But when it reactivates, you normally get shingles. I think you can think of Bell's palsy in this. We got herpes simplex virus 1, the virus became latent, and when it reactivates in the facial nerve, you get this Bell's palsy. Normally, it does occur like within 24 hours. And it's unilateral, meaning it normally affects just one side of the face. There are cases where you can have a bilateral Bell's palsy, but normally it occurs unilaterally, just one side of the face. And what happens is paralysis of the muscles of your face. Your mouth starts to dribble, it starts to droop. It looks like a mini stroke, but it's not a stroke. You can't really close your eyes or puff your cheeks. Your eyes become more teary. About 85% of people that get Bell's palsy recover without any treatment. However, I think within the first 72 hours of these symptoms developing, giving prednisolone, is a steroid, it normally really cuts down the duration. It can take time to recover. Some people might recover in a couple of days, weeks. Others might take up to 9 months, 9 or 10 months to recover. And that is the fact of the matter. Now, let's see how this relates to the COVID vaccine, like the Pfizer vaccine. In the Pfizer vaccine, I think they tested over 40,000 volunteers. 20,000 of the volunteers were given the placebo and 20,000 were given the Pfizer vaccine. And when you look at the document published by the FDA, in terms of the safety profile of the Pfizer vaccine, it's no different to the circulating vaccines before the COVID. It had the same problem, pain around the injection sites, a bit of fever, a bit of aches here and there, which we would expect, but the only imbalance they found in terms of the outcome were these Bell's palsy that occurred in the people given the vaccine and not in the control group. So because of this, some people were going crazy that it means the vaccine is not safe, but that is not the case. As I said earlier, the incidence in the general population, put the COVID vaccine away, right? The general population in a year, you'd expect 20 cases in 100,000, yeah? Therefore, if you get 4 cases in, let's say, 20,000, that really fits what you would see in the general population. Anyone telling you these volunteers got the vaccine and because of the vaccine they got the Bell's palsy is lying to you. This is coincidental. That's what I'm trying to say. There is no causal relationship between the Pfizer vaccine and the Bell's palsy developed by the 4 volunteers. But I still stick to my point. The vaccine is safe and I would urge people to take it. Then and again, nobody is forcing anyone to take anything. It's just a professional advice that can be given to people, and at the end of the day, it's a decision people have to make. And of course, one would argue, but we don't know the long-term consequence. That is true. We don't know how this thing is going to play out in 20 years. However, based on the evidence we have so far, it has the same safety profile as the vaccines already approved and are being used now. And yeah, it's your boy Yoti, and I'm out. Salute.